You're looking at Virgil Simons, who is founder and president, CEO and CFO of ProstateNet, and also a prostate cancer survivor, our good friend. Good to see you.
Good to be here, Steve. Thank you.
You've been on our sister program many, many times, Caucus, New Jersey.
Right.
Mid-90s, right? You were diagnosed?
95.
95. You've been with us so many times, but here's the question. What is the most relevant, important information we need to know today about prostate cancer?
Number one, it's not a death sentence.
By the way, go back. Tell us. I don't want to assume everyone knows the organization.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, the ProstateNet basically is a nonprofit 501c3.
Right.
That basically I started after I had prostate cancer, pretty much when I got up off the operating table. And it came from the fact.
First thing on your mind. Hey, let me start an organization.
Well, I'm basically a marketing guy.
Yep, we know.
I saw that there was an opportunity out here in terms of delivering information, delivering empowerment that people didn't have access to. So I said, well, there's a gap here. Let's try to fill it. And so basically, we started off simply with a few brochures that said, okay, if you've got prostate cancer, these are the things you need to know. This is how you navigate your way through the system. And then it started spreading from there. We saw we needed a website. We said a call-in number. We needed to have a team of
By the way, your
counselors.
website will be up throughout the entire program, so go ahead.
So anyway, out of that, it just started growing and growing and growing. The needs started becoming even more pronounced, and we had more and more things we needed to do. Today, we're looking at a situation where men don't know what they don't know.
What does that mean?
They don't know the risks they face from prostate cancer. They don't know that they can live with prostate cancer. There are things they can do to prevent getting prostate cancer. They can treat it early and have a wonderful life afterwards.
Okay, let's back up. First off, let's get through the PSA thing. Age-wise, I always like to say, I was always wondering if it was 40. I was doing the show, we first started doing it when I was in my 40s. And
right.
Everyone says when I hit 50, I'm on the other side of 50. Well, that's where I am. Was it 40 or 50? Which one is it?
40.
Really?
40.
Because?
Because I think our lifestyle, our environment is such that we're seeing men present earlier with the disease. We're seeing guys in their 30s.
Why?
That's the whole thing we really don't know. I think part of it has to do with diet, part of it has to do with environment, part of it has to do with stress levels, part of it has to do with genetics. And all of these things together...
Well, how do you prevent it? See, you went, I know I'm jumping around, but you said we can do some things to prevent it, but then you're talking about genetics.
There's a new class of drugs that they call 5-alpha reductase.
5-alpha
reductase.
Go ahead.
And it's been proven if you start taking one of these pills every day, you can prevent the onset of prostate cancer.
The research shows this?
Yeah.
What does it do for you?
Somehow or another, it blocks the mechanisms of cancer engagement. So whatever cells you have inside you that could be predisposed to become cancer, they block that switch from being turned on.
For Virgil, who gets this? Is someone who gets, are you saying for someone who's predisposed or someone who had a test who said, listen, you're a likely candidate? Why would you walk in to your doctor and say, I want this drug?
Well, that goes back to the other thing that men don't know, and that's risk.
Go ahead.
So we look at risk factors. Familial. Has your father, your uncle, any of your other male relatives? That's very critical. Very critical. That could increase your risk by up to 60%. Number two, we started looking at environmental factors. Did you serve in Vietnam? Were you exposed to Agent Orange? That's also a risk factor. African Americans, again, that's another high risk factor.
I've been asking this for 10 years now. Why?
What we know now is that part of it is definitely genetics. Other part has to do with access to care, access to information.
Is it diet as well?
It is diet. In many cases, we find that high-fat diets are accelerants to prostate cancer. African Americans tend to have a high-fat diet.
Got it. Go back to the question I asked you about the PSA, because you said to me, literally right before we got on the air, now more than ever.
Right.
Why?
The government agency, the USPSTF, the United States Preventive Services Task Force, has come out and said that PSA test is not recommended.
What?
They're saying it's not recommended.
Why?
Because they believe that in having a PSA test exposes men to greater risk from over-treatment. They're saying guys who maybe don't need to be treated for prostate cancer are getting treated for prostate cancer.
And your response?
Well, let's see. On TV, my response is...
No, in real life, what's your response?
BS. Because we've got a situation where they're saying normal men shouldn't do anything in absence of symptoms. Well, prostate cancer is the kind of disease that if you get symptoms, you've already moved to a very, very bad place. you're in this point now of saying that you've got metastatic disease.
Right.
And when you start getting symptoms with prostate cancer, your options become very, very slim.
Are you fighting the government on this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
By the way, who's driving this?
My gut reaction, again, no substantiation with it. You know, it's the same group. They recommended that women shouldn't have mammographies, right, before the age of 50. Well, we see that there are many African-American women, many younger women who have presented with breast cancer before the age of 50. So it's a similar kind of thing that we're saying, who benefits from this? Who benefits from not getting early detection? Insurance companies, because you have to pay for these screening tests and all of that. We look at a situation, well, the basic problem is that we have a system, as opposed to other parts of the world, that compensates doctors, healthcare providers for treating illness as opposed to promoting wellness.
And prevention.
Right.
You don't get paid for that, per se.
Right.
Virgil, a couple of minutes left. New treatments? Reason to be hopeful?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Biggest thing we're seeing now is imaging. And in Europe, we're seeing a thing that's called multi-parameter MRIs, where they look at the tumor. Here, normally with the trusses, when they go in and start poking holes in the prostate, try to find the cancer. Now with this
Pretty invasive.
Pretty invasive. Now with the new MPI system, they're able to look at the tumor and see which ones are likely to have cancer, go in and hit those. And in some cases, they don't do a biopsy at all. So again, we're dealing with the issue of early detection over treatment at the same time.
Before I let you out of here, it's been a lot of years you've been our friend and advisor on this issue. 1995, you're diagnosed.
Right.
We're going on
16 years.
16, 17 years. By the way, go on the website. Great stuff there, valuable information. How has this whole initiative, this work, your life's work, changed your life?
Well, it's I tell people it's the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
Getting prostate cancer?
Yeah, it's the greatest thing that ever happened to me because, again, it enabled me to do the things that I love to do, which is marketing, be able to deal with the unaddressed issues, and be able to help people. We had a program we did last year with Harley Davidson called Gentlemen Check Your Engines. Had a guy come in, he hadn't been to a doctor in over 40 years. He came in, heard the message, went and got checked out. He had a Gleason 8 prostate cancer. If he hadn't come in, the guy would be dead today.
You're doing important work. And by the way, when you go on Virgil's website, they got podcasts, they have valuable information. This clip will wind up on there, and other programs that we've done with Virgil. Virgil Simons is the founder, president, CEO, and CFO of the Prostate Net, and also a prostate cancer survivor since 1995, and our good friend and advisor on this subject. Thank you, good friend.
Thanks, Woody.
Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this. That was important.